Alright, here's another part of Sonic 1, and why are there 3 acts of Labyrinth Zone? Yeah, I think 3 acts drags the game out. Like, Sonic 1 is pretty much the only Sonic game to have 3 acts instead of just 2. I mean, the Sonic Advanced series has 3 acts, like, or at least Advanced 3 does. I haven't played. No, Advanced 3 definitely has 3 acts. Advanced 1 and 2 really don't. Anyways, I'm gonna talk more about how exactly Sonic evolved and how Sonic and Eggman as characters are. Okay, first of all, like, Eggman is basically this mustache old man who is really arrogant, and he has a whole bunch of robots as his army, and I don't really like Eggman because he's basically generic villain in a nutshell. It's like, oh wow, he's a mad scientist and he has an army of robots at his disposal. That's so original. Oh, he's arrogant and he yells at his minions. That's so original. It's like I can't take him seriously as a threat because he's so generic and cliche. They just feel like an actual character. Just a guy there for the sake of having a villain. And I don't think he's appealing because, again, he's a cliche. And Sonic, he's basically this carefree hero who's impatient and heroic, and he's an adventurous thrill seeker. That's a big part of his personality. It's something that's completely missing from him in Sonic Boom. He just doesn't care about the adventure and is just ready to retire. In most games, he loves fun. He loves adventure. I hate these bad mixed levels. Like, they're so often in narrow corridors where, like, how are you supposed to avoid them? Like, they feel cheap to me, and they come back in later games too. This is a pretty good challenge, though. It's like, look, you're being sent up to a spike, and you have to jump just the right way, and if you fail, you have to do it over again. But you're not sent into a bottomless pit. A lot of Sonic games punish you for screwing up by sending you into a bottomless pit, and that can get really frustrating. This game just has you repeat stuff you already did, and you don't even repeat very much. Yeah, so basically, Sonic originally was a lot better than... Sonic originally had a lot of things that made it different from the way it is now. Like, originally Sonic was supposed to be in this rock band where he had fangs and had a human girlfriend named Madonna. And yeah, I don't think that would have gone over very well. Like, okay, contrary to popular belief, Madonna never actually went past the concept stage. Like, the mother of Sonic, called Madeline, Madonna was already rejected by the time she came around, specifically because we already had Mario saving the princess all the time. And sure, Madonna wasn't a princess, but it still would have seemed like it would be too generic to have Sonic saving a princess. Apparently, the idea that a human and a hedgehog being lovers would be unappealing was not their main concern for some reason. So I can understand why they would end up thinking Sonic Unleashed is a good idea, because they didn't see entirely, but, like, Elise was even more generic than Madonna, to be honest. It's unknown how exactly they would have interacted. It was said that Madonna was going to be like a male fantasy chasing Sonic around, so I guess she would have been like Amy. But if she was supposed to be his girlfriend, yeah, that's a cheap part of the stage. There aren't that many rings, so they're pretty much due. Anyways, I think the major problem with Madonna is that, you know, the whole creep factor. Like, she's a human and he's a hedgehog, and they're both anthropomorphic sentient beings, but still. And Madonna was a blonde woman with short hair, not that much different from Amy now, and she had a red dress that was pretty similar to Amy now. It's ultimately better that they went with Amy instead. The rock band that Sonic was supposed to be a part of had Vector the Crocodile's first appearance in it. He was supposed to be the guy playing the keyboard, and originally they were supposed to have the sound test be part of they're supposed to have a cool sound test where they had this graphic of Sonic playing a rock band, and basically that was scrapped due to time constraints, so they just have some bits stuck to the level select menu. This part of the level is a lot easier than I'm making it look. I kind of rushed there. Like even the part where you're just being dragged along by currents, just all you have to do is just go down and press A, and you can even keep the momentum going. You don't have to really stop. I hate this section of the level though. You have to jump on the spring with a lot of momentum, because otherwise you'll just hit the ceiling like that. I wish it's a good challenge, but first off, I wish there were more rings here, and second, I just wish the platform was lower. Like, I pushed the switch off screen, because you don't want to see all that. Every single time you die here, you have to go all the way back to the end, to the start of the stage, because there aren't enough checkpoints in this level. Like, this is the first time you see a checkpoint here. Like, yeah, that's not cheap. He just jumps out of the ground. Like, I mostly like Labyrinth Zone because it's a good platforming level, but I'll admit it has a lot of problems. And again, if you don't jump on the cork, you die. Because you can't jump, because you end up drowning, and there's no way at all for you to recover from that. Isn't this fun? Jumping upstairs. This is definitely challenging. Yep, no problem with this at all. None whatsoever. At least there's a shield here, but I really wish that this checkpoint was right here, because the big problem I have with this so-called boss fight is that if you die, you have to jump all the way up that staircase all over again, and that is mind-numbingly boring. Yeah, this is pretty tense. There's no rings here at all, so if you lose your rings and you lose your shield like I did, you have to be really precise with your jumps to avoid dying here. I think it's a good challenge though. And like, yeah, believe it or not, there was no editing involved here, folks. I got through all of that in just one try. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did. And it's really satisfying when you get through in just one go. But believe me, you are going to hate jumping up that staircase over and over again. And that's the big reason why I hate that boss fight, even though it's pretty unique. I don't really know why Eggman was running away from Sonic instead of fighting though. It's like there's this one funny comic where it basically says that Eggman ran away from him because he wasn't ready. And he was chasing him around, and Sonic was like, "Come on, Eggman, let's do this already. Come on, you big baby." And he didn't, and he was just running after him. Yeah, this is Starlight Zone. And these are the badniks. Yep, there's bubbles here too. They're pretty cheap. There's a lot of cheap badniks in this place. I really like the loops though. Like basically, this level is pretty much guaranteed to test whether or not you know to roll into a ball when you're moving forwards. Because if you don't know that you have to roll into a ball to get really fast, then the level's going to feel pretty underwhelming. Like here, you have to roll into a ball to get really fast. And my first time playing this, I didn't know that I was supposed to roll into a ball to get really fast. So the level felt pretty underwhelming to me. I was just going through loops kind of slowly. You have to roll into a ball to break the speed cap. Like, DJ Naka put the speed cap there because he was getting motion sickness from how fast the game was. I mean, I guess it makes sense. You can't have the gameplay be too fast, or people with lightning fast reflexes will have a lot of trouble. I mean, people already have a lot of trouble with Unleashed HD, and that game has a lot of areas where you die if you don't react quickly enough, so some of the levels end up just being trial and error. Yeah, to get that special ring to appear, you have to have 50 rings at the end of the stage. But the annoying thing is that you have to jump into it in a very specific way, or you'll get cheated out of the special stage. It's like, again, you have to go all the way to the end of the stage having 50 rings. And you have to jump into it in a very specific way so that you don't miss your opportunity. So you only have a small amount of chances to get all the Chaos Emeralds in this game. So I admire people who are capable of doing that, but even if I could get to all the special stages, I probably wouldn't be able to beat them. Like, I love the fast sections of this level, I really do. It's fantastic, but there's also a lot of problems, like the dickish enemy placement, and this. That's pretty slow paced, don't you think? I mean, I love how fast you get launched, but you have to make it launch you twice. You have to jump on it twice. It's like it's not enough that you have it land once. No, you have to land on it twice, 3 times. And I wish the fans here were more like the ones in Sonic Commands 2 Sky level. I forget what it's called. Because it's like you run up to the fans, and then you run the other way, and you feel a burst of speed. You feel faster because the fans are blowing behind you. These fans just get in your way, and they stop you from going through the level, and they make you go through in a very specific way. I don't really mind that though. Like, I like this level, but it has a lot of problems that Green Hill doesn't. I like the music, I guess. Like, the aesthetic's pretty boring, though. I mean, it's green, which is unique for a mechanical level, but it's just mechanical. This is some good platforming, though. Although, for the most part, this level is not about platforming. It's more about there's loops, and then there's slow sections. So there's slow sections like this, where you're just waiting around. Or, oh yeah, that's the fun part of the level design, isn't it? I hate the bombs. I really do. Because they're invincible. You can't jump into them and kill them instantly. Like with most enemies. Instead, you just have to wait for them to explode. And sometimes, you can't really do that, you know? Sometimes they're in dickish parts of the level. This guy is kind of tricky to jump on. Okay, like, originally, not only was Sonic supposed to be in a rock band where he had fangs and a human girlfriend chasing him around, but he was supposed to fight monsters, not robots, and he was supposed to fight against a mustache villain that actually dressed like a bumblebee. It wasn't until later, like, the only reason Eggman is designed the way he is because he's actually made so that he's easier to draw. I hate this part of the level. It turns out that what you're supposed to do is jump against that thing, and then you're supposed to know that it'll bring down a staircase for you. And look, I got knocked back by the spring there, so I wasn't able to jump onto the staircase, and by the time I went back to it, it was already back to normal. But because I didn't notice that I did that in the first place, I got just completely stuck here, and I ended up just jumping. I just ended up getting myself killed so that I could just get past the level. Yeah, just take a different route and you'll be fine. Alright, see you in the next part.